going on, everyone? We are back with another just regular movie reaction. I'm Depraved.
I'm Hellcat.
And together we are...
Hella Depraved.
And we're here to poop on your favorite... No, I'm kidding. I mean, we are going to kind of poop on it, but not out of absolute disrespect, maybe.
And
maybe,
hopefully it's not your favorite.
Maybe some disrespect.
Right.
No, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I don't feel like it's disrespectful to not enjoy it, necessarily.
No, but I'm about to tell you all kinds of ways why this movie is absolute shit. No, it's just not for me.
Right. Maybe you should tell them. I mean, like, they clicked in, but this is Skinamarink.
Oh, yeah. Skinamarink.
Which, by the way, has nothing to do with Skinamarink Dinky Dink.
No.
Other than, like, Skinamarink, the word is made up childish gibberish, and so is most of this movie.
Alright, so with that being said, baby! Hellcat, my sweetheart, hit him with the plot.
There's a plot.
And there we have it.
Basically, this is the childish nightmare version of two children, 6 and 4, I think, waking up in the middle of the night to find that their parents are gone. And an unknown space of time thereafter of them in the living room with doors disappearing, the toilet disappears, you know.
Just things disappearing.
Just stuff. And then at the end it says 572 days and there's blood splatter and the kids have hallucinated demons or, yeah, something like that. Pretty much.
Now some interesting takes that I have seen as far as the story, what the story is supposed to be about. The far most plausible to me and most interesting is that he is in a coma. At the very beginning, you do hear a conversation between dad and somebody on the phone. It sounds like mom, but it might not be. It might be a doctor or something. We're not for sure. Or no, I think it was maybe the little girl or something.
It was mom. No, it was because someone used Kaylee's name. You know?
Right. But he does mention that, you know, he had fallen down the steps. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it was truly an accident or not. Kaylee could have pushed Kevin down the steps.
Said that he was sleepwalking. But the problem is, with that theory, the phone call says, no, he's fine. He didn't even need stitches.
Right. Also true.
And that was the supposed adult on the phone.
Right. Yeah, over and above all, plot-wise, I don't know what the fuck's going on with this movie, other than...
I mean, so, reading about it, the director took an amalgamation of childhood nightmares that he collected, and this was sort of the end product of people's nightmare as children where their parents disappear. Like waking up and finding them gone. And I guess at some point, you know, you're afraid of the corners, the dark, whatever, and sort of hallucinating or making up the, you know, boogeyman in the closet type concept. And that's the supposed demonic voice. Now, what concerns me is even having had nightmares like that when I was a kid, I never created a demonic voice that told me to stab myself in the eye and then ended an entire movie with blood splatter. Just saying.
Right.
And if my movie started skipping, the TV either went off or I switched out the VHS.
Right.
So, but that's supposed to be what it is. I mean, like, he didn't really go into anything in terms of, like, telling what is actually happening other than it's a child's nightmare. Now, why is he having a nightmare? Don't know. He's a sleepwalker. So maybe the toilet disappearing means that he's got the bedside drawer that he pees in. Or he pees in a closet. Or, I don't know. Or his sister's mouth disappearing. Maybe that's sort of a Freudian thing. But this is supposed to be more archetypal than anything.
Right. And something else. Okay, so with that's the plot. I'm gonna go into the cast. And the cast is gonna be kind of so. This is directed and written and everything by Kyle Edward Ball.
Right.
It had a budget of $15,000.
Right.
Um,
It's all based on his short called Heck.
Right. And then the cast, it looks like Lucas Paul plays Kevin.
The 4-year-olds.
Dolly Rose Tetrault is Kaylee.
The 6-year-old.
And then Ross Paul played a little bit of Kevin and Kaylee's father. Or Kevin and Kaylee's father. Okay, that makes more sense. Oh my god, I've been reading this wrong the whole time.
He's the dad.
It could have just said the dad.
Right, he's the dad. Okay.
Because I'm sitting here and I'm like...
Yeah. Why is he
playing some of Kevin?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Ross Paul plays Kevin and Kaylee's father, and then Jamie Hill plays Kevin and Kaylee's mom.
Right.
So here's my problem. I couldn't begin to tell you who any of these people are, which that in itself is not a problem.
Right, well...
It's more of a problem that I don't think you ever really see anybody.
You see the side profile of Kevin towards the very end in a moment, like almost a climactic moment with the demon.
You see a short moment of Kaylee missing her mouth and eyes.
Right. But you do actually see the side profile of Kevin at one point. And again, that's not...
Little feet running around.
It's not so much of a problem when you think about how they were filming it, which was all supposed to be kind of like at young kid level, and you know, it's the long still frames and this and that and the other. Like the whole way through I was like, well, this is very much Paranormal Activity to me. Just less talking plot type thing. I didn't find Paranormal Activity very interesting either, but less talking kind of plot, yeah.
Right.
At least Paranormal Activity, to me, had a more flushed out story in that they set everything up because she thought there was ghosts in the house, and it turns out that she's being possessed.
Right.
I mean, you know what's going
on. And then lastly, in terms of special effects, there's not much of any. You have the missing eyes and mouth that you could definitely tell. I think is probably a little bit of special effects that were used. They do show like blood splatters here and there.
I mean, the way that it was filmed in the old-fashioned grainy.
It was filmed in the old grainy, which isn't in and of itself bad.
And in fact, well, yeah, no.
But
it was very artistic. I will say that. Like, I will give the long still shots the artistic value that it's worth. I personally can see the value in that. I just kind of needed a bit more to be happening. I don't know.
All right, so now I'm going to talk about all of it kind of together and why I don't like this movie at all.
Fair.
We've discussed in an earlier video that I'm not a big fan of having to imagine what's going on in movies. And these artistic, or how did they call it, experimental movies.
It's still an art film, yeah.
Experimental horror films all do the same shit to me. They bore me. Because here's my thing. It's not that I don't have an active imagination. And I feel like people think, oh, you just don't want to imagine it because you don't have an imagination that can handle it. No. I have a very vivid imagination. But when you put me into a situation where I am forced to try and think about how it is, my mind is going to the wackiest fucking shit I can fucking think of. Because that's just how my mind works.
But you're also not relaxing and enjoying a movie because you're overthinking.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like... this whole movie is filmed in check out this ceiling with a little bit of the wall. Look at the lights come on. Look at the lights come off.
The chairs on the ceiling.
The chairs
Barbie's
randomly on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Barbie's over here on the wall. Toys are in the floor. Here, take a look at this floor and the floorboards. Oh, look, feet just ran by. Mm-hmm. Oh, look, you can hear what's going on. Kind of. Sometimes we're going to give you subtitles. Sometimes we're not.
Right.
And the times that we're not, it's not even going to be near as clear as the times we are.
Right.
And
my mind immediately went to like Chucky possession level for the little 4-year-old boy. Like I was like, he killed his whole family.
And at the end of the day, like we had to watch this. We had to watch this in 2 sittings.
Oh well, he fell asleep the first time.
I was going to fall asleep the first time because we tried to watch it late at night.
It was too late,
which is usually when we watch movies.
Yeah, but it was coming off of a 10-hour workday, and it was just too late for you. Yeah.
But we stopped 30 minutes in, and then finished it a day and a half, 2 days later, and somebody reviewed it on Rotten Tomatoes, and I agree.
The Rotten Tomatoes one is actually funny.
Oh, there's a couple different ones. Mine's different than yours. There's a couple really, really funny reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but my favorite and most agreeable was the one from some lady that had said something along the lines of 130, or she said 10 minutes in, you've seen everything this movie has to offer. You don't need the full 100 minutes to be disappointed.
Right. Yeah.
And
although I will say the last 10 minutes are the most enjoyable.
They are. And it sucks that it takes...
Because of the blood splatter and,
this, you guys, like Monday, if you guys watch the video for Scanners on Monday, you will notice there was a point in time in that entire thing, towards the very end after we reviewed it, where I said I liked the very beginning and the very end, but everything in the middle was kind of slow.
Like,
and she's like, the movie. And then I come to this and I'm like,
never mind.
5 seconds somewhere in the movie where they tried to do a jump scare was good, and then the very end was interesting.
And you're like, and Scanners was fantastic at this point. I mean, Scanners.
Now all of a sudden, I think Maniac might be one of the best movies I've ever seen. Right. Go watch that review.
That's the original, not the remake. We don't know about that yet. Okay, my opinion on this, honestly, I really can get behind the artistic filming. I really can. If you're going to do something with it. And I get that this was more supposed to be let your imagination take you where it's going to take you archetypally. Think back to when you were a kid. You know, how it felt to be home alone. Now, I was the older sibling. I did have a younger sibling. I did have some really creepy fucking experiences being left home alone with my sister. Like, stuff that ended with the cops coming, by the way. So I can put myself in that position, but on the other hand, I don't feel like this story went anywhere. So I get to the end of it and I've wasted my time. Because there's this 572-day, like, of what? Of what? Like,
of what?
I need you to finish your thoughts. Like, why is there now a kid that has supposedly called 911, spoken to a cop?
But the phone turns into a toy phone, though.
I know. No,
so I don't think
that's
he ever
why I
actually
said
talked
supposedly.
To a cop.
That's why I said supposedly. Why has he apparently injured his eye? Like, stuck a knife in his eye? Like, why is there blood spatter that ends the whole thing? Like, did he kill his family? You don't hear from his sister again. You know, I mean, why is his mom crying? Where is his dad? I mean, his dad could just easily be at work or whatever, but why don't they want to talk about their mom? Like, there's this stuff that...
I feel like there's a subplot, like a deeper meaning that they're trying to express.
I mean, like...
And it's just not there.
The problem is my mind, again, went multiple different places, and I watch a lot of the ID channel. So I'm thinking these are kids that are definitely, like, long-term survivors of domestic abuse situation. Not necessarily towards them, but, like, the mom and the dad get into it. Or, because why is mom crying? Why is dad gone? Why don't you want to talk about mom? Did he kill mom? Like, how did he end up at the bottom of the stairs? Was it sleepwalking? But you don't end anything. And I don't like that there were so many threads that were never wrapped up. Like, it's okay to have well, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Like, because then people can create their own mythos and, like, that's fine. But not this many. this many, and then fucking ending it with 572 days. Of what? Of what? Like, they're ghosts in the house?
That's how long it felt like we were watching that movie for.
That's very true. Maybe that's what it was. That's what it was. Okay, I get it. And the blood spatter is how we wanted to end ourselves at the end of it.
Unalive ourselves.
I just said end.
Okay.
Anyway. I feel like I'm disappointed. Because I really felt...
I'm mad because I'd heard... Before reading anything, people were just talking about this movie. I didn't see what they were talking about. I had just seen it everywhere.
Right.
And so for me, I'm like, that means it's one of two things.
It's a conversation piece.
It's either really good, or it's so bad that it's good.
But it's a conversation piece, you know?
And it was neither.
But I think it I mean, like, it could be. It could be. Like, I feel like... That's why I'm disappointed. Like, I feel like the filming was actually done very well. I feel like...
The filming would have been done well for me if it wasn't awkward angles where you don't see anything. You don't see anything.
Yeah, but the thing is...
Walls and ceilings and floors and toys. That's
But from a 4-year-old's perspective, like, that's what it is.
Is he standing on his head the entire movie?
Yeah, I think he's possessed. Honestly, I think it's a Chucky doll.
That might be.
It's not real Kevin. Kevin is not here. Kevin is no longer
Kevin!
Right. Or it's Home Alone Kevin, and he's, you know, attaching his micro mini machines all over the place, and that's why the rest of the family is deceased. They stepped on Legos. I just like I feel like this could have been so much more if there was some wrap up in some plot. Like, there was nothing. And I just... Something more. Like, I don't know, seeing all the bodies laid out at the end. Or, like, I don't know, he wakes up. Or just something. You know?
Right.
Anyway.
I think my problem is this entire movie felt like somebody...
Your problem's the movie.
The whole movie.
Yeah.
It feels like somebody gave their iPhone to a kid.
And just said...
go film stuff for 5 or 6 days.
Right.
And then they used Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, to splice together the footage.
Right.
And then left it at that.
Right.
It added some dialogue here and there.
That's excellent, though.
And...
Because that's exactly what it's supposed to be. But there should be plot points after this.
Added an Instagram filter to make it look spooky.
I mean, so, like, here's the thing, is, like, I can understand things disappearing because, again, he's a kid. But, like, you bring in that there is this sleepwalking. You bring in that he has hit his head. You bring in that the mom is crying and they don't want to talk about their mom and their dad's gone. And then Kaylee's mouth gets taken, and you bring in all this stuff. Like, why do we care that he pokes his eye with the knife? Like, why do we care about... Nothing is wrapped up. Nothing. So why do we care about any of it? That is my problem. I sat through 100 minutes because, unlike you, I was like, I'm not real big on this. Just to be fair, but I am also not a big Paranormal Activity fan, by the way.
I don't like Blair Witch Project. I don't like
Well, I
Paranormal
can't
anything.
watch the original Blair Witch because of the
like
first
this.
person, and I actually get motion sick. I don't like Paranormal Activity because I get bored.
Well, I can watch Blair Witch, and it still sucked.
So, but I'm just saying, like, artistically and everything, like, I could handle this. I could, if there was a resolution to any of the plot points. Why do I care about any of this?
Do you want to know why I hate this movie? And why I don't agree with your plot point? Hold on.
What plot point? That is my plot point. There is no plot point.
Hold on. I want to show you something.
Like...
I want to show you something.
Did you start writing all Skinamarink and no play makes Nick a dull boy?
Look.
What are you doing?
Motherfuckers.
Entertaining the cats?
That's not fucking art, okay? And I am over Motherfuckers throwing shapes up and being like, look at my masterpiece. Bitch, you gave your kid toys, took a picture.
But I could see...
Get your modernized bullshit out of the fucking art places and out of fucking movies. Do a fucking movie.
Bring back Giallo. That's art.
That's art. Giallo's art. This ain't even art. This is just taking pictures with the phone and then fucking adding noises.
Go watch the original Suspiria. The use of color and I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if it made sense plot-wise for a 4-year-old to have, like, for us to be in the 4-year-old's perspective the whole time, then I could accept it. But again, I don't... There's nothing about any... Like, all of these little things that they bring up independently are actually very interesting and could be exceptional plot points.
Could be.
But there's no connection. Like, they don't connect them together at all. There's no intersection between even two of them, goddammit. And then you get to the end and you're like, and what the fuck? You just added 572 days? Like, I just don't...
I just really hope I didn't make either of those pages.
Yeah, so anyway, I wanted to like this more. I hate it.
I dislike it too. So, for
plus,
the judgment...
I like the song Skinamarink, by the way, and there's no... They don't even play the song. Like, the kids don't sing the song. The mom's not singing the song to them. They're not hearing it with their old school cartoons. Like, what is the goddamn point of naming the whole thing Skinamarink?
I was getting mad because I wanted to watch the cartoons that you guys kept pulling away from because they were far more interesting than the movie they were placed within.
And then they kept going on repeat.
And then they'd start repeating. Okay, so now that I'm done being an absolute asshole and have pissed off probably a lot of hipsters...
I don't think you were being an asshole. I think that's, you know... Stylistically, this sucked for us.
It did.
And if you like it, please explain why.
I guess it's time for judgment. I need a gavel. We need gavels. Judgment. And we can both smack the table at the same time. But then somebody will get pissed off because it's going to go through the mic.
Right.
I'm giving this half a Lego. Half a Lego. And you know why it gets half a Lego and not no Lego? Because the creepy phone moment was really fun. That's like the best part of this entire movie, where like the screen's all black, and then you just see eyes pop up.
Right.
And then I'm like, ooh, look, they're eyes. And I started getting intrigued just a little bit, and then the lights kind of came on and showed the phone, and I was like, oh. But then the phone like looked mean for a second.
Right.
And then I was like, oh. And then the lights went back off, and you just seen the eyes again, and then it was done. That was the last time we saw the phone, and I was like, oh. Half a Lego.
Damn it. This gets one Lego.
You're going with Legos too?
Yeah. I mean, blood spatter is basically the only other thing. Unless you can find a chatter telephone.
Oh, I got you.
Alright. Then this gets one chatter telephone. And honestly, it's because I feel like all of these things independently could have been so good. The story could have been so good if you had followed even just one of these to a final point. And there was just nothing.
Correct. Yeah. If you're somebody that gets scared of horror movies, you'll probably love this movie because it's kind of like, you know...
It's submersive in, like, the intensity of it. Like, so if you're one of those people that finds long silences or these shots, these still shots, basically, where you're waiting to see something jump out or, like, you're trying to see the monster in the closet, you know, it's definitely for you. But
you're going to be sadly disappointed because you don't see or hear nothing.
Not really.
It never fucking happens. There's, like, one attempt at a jump scare. As a matter of fact, Bray Wyatt's done better in the last week and a half at providing jump scares on regular TV than this movie provided. I'm...
Yeah, there's a moment where, like, a hand or mist or something comes out. Anyway, it's just not... Yeah, the person who said it goes nowhere and don't bother watching it all for disappointment's sake, like, yeah, I agree. Unfortunately.
All right! Now that, you know, we've pissed some people off. That's going to do it. not art. Do you hear me? Anyways, that is going to do it. Thank you guys that took the time to watch us shit on this movie. I really hope the $2 million that this guy grossed pretty much. It wasn't $2 million. It might as well have been, though, because he only spent
says box office,
$15,000 on the fucking movie.
Right.
Hopefully the money he grosses allows him to provide or to use better equipment to make an actual movie, because the idea is there, kind of.
I don't even care about, like, equipment. I need them to have a writer that fucking finishes a goddamn thought.
Right. It's like having Vince McMahon pin a fucking
I mean, I feel like this is, you know, like, shot like Paranormal Activity, but it's like an Amityville version of a 4-year-old. Like, I feel like, you know, with the parents all... I feel like he killed everybody in the house, and that it could be, like, something superb, if anything, finalized.
Right.
Yeah. So.
All right. That's going to do it. So we got half from me, one from her. This is definitely the worst movie I've seen this year.
So far. Yeah.
It can always get worse.
It really can, but it's gonna take a bit.
Have you guys ever seen what was that fucking movie we hated last year?
Mother's Day?
No. I mean, I do hate that movie, but that's not the one I'm talking about.
I absolutely hate that one.
The one where I threw my hat. Agnes?
Oh, God. I don't even remember what it was. I think I tried to delete it from my memory.
It didn't have an actual fucking ending. It was like they were talking in the middle of the diner and the movie just stopped. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Anyways, that is going to do it. We love you guys. We will see you next time. Bye!